today's fullback doesn't even need an introduction. If you watch football, you've definitely heard his name. The one and only Franco Harris. If you don't know him, for whatever reason, he Pittsburgh fullback. He played 70s and all the way to the mid 80s, and then he played 1 year at the tail end of his career with Seattle. I mean, if you don't even know him, I'll just read off his accolades. I mean, and that puts him in a league of his own already. I mean, as a fullback, he was a 9-time Pro Bowler, first-time All-Pro, Walter Payton Man of the Year. So, I mean, if he's being a great fullback wasn't enough, he was just a good human being. 1972 Offensive Player of the Year, and a Hall of Famer. And, I mean, that's a fullback, a true fullback who got put in as a Hall of Famer. And, I mean, that's huge enough because the last time a fullback got into the Hall of Fame, it was 1987, and it was Larry Csonka. So there's just, I mean, what he did on paper. But, I mean, aside from that, I mean, look at him. Amazing hair. It looks nice, which is hilarious because he played for the Steel Curtain Steelers, known for just being, I mean, they had a D-tackle named Mean Joe Green. I mean, there's a famous Coke commercial with him. I mean, their whole mantra was just being tough neck football team, and Franco didn't fit the mold, but I mean, he was just amazing. He's hilarious. So just a little background. He born in Jersey, went to Penn State, and what's funny is he really wasn't used as a runner. I mean, he never had more than 600 yards in a season in his 3 seasons. And, I mean, as a Steeler, just to show how much he changed coming into the NFL, he played 12 seasons for 11,950 yards. I mean, he almost averaged 1,000 yards a season. And he would play another year with Seattle, but he only got like 600 yards. But still, I mean, that's impressive. He was in his late 30s, so it's still a good season. But, again, you know, from the college scene, he went from basically being a blocker to becoming a all-around threat. I mean, he caught a little bit. I'll pull up his stats to show you. He wasn't huge in the receiving game, but, I mean, back then, running backs just basically weren't involved at all in the running game. So the fact that he even had some catches was a testament to how good he was. And, I mean, it's obligatory. When you talk about Franco Harris, you have to talk about what I think is probably the best catch in NFL history with an asterisk. The reason I say asterisk is because I think there have been more challenging catches and bigger ones, but this is the best game-winning touchdown catch ever, and I don't even think there's a debate for it. Okay, so I'll try and break it down. I mean, there's literally a bajillion videos trying to do the exact same thing I'm about to do, and I'm trying to do it in like a few minutes, not an hour. I mean, this is literally one of the most controversial plays in NFL history because there's like a million things that could have gone wrong to stop it from happening. It's a crazy play. And this play was on one of their 4 Super Bowl runs they had while he was on their team. And it was the AFC Divisional game in 1972. So it's Steelers-Raiders. Ken Stabler throws a touchdown. Raiders are up 7-6 with a minute left. So it's the last play of the game, and the Steelers they're pretty far back. They're about a little past the 50. And so, again, I said he's a fullback. He was not the number 1 read. Chuck Noll called the play 66 circle option, and the whole point of the play was to get the ball to Barry Pearson, who was a rookie, to hopefully win the game that they kind of thought was over, either to get him into field goal range or, again, even to get the touchdown. But when Bradshaw dropped back, I'll also show a diagram so you can kind of see what was going on. As Bradshaw dropped back, he got instantly pressured, and so he just kind of yucked the ball downfield, and he threw it to John Frenchie Fuqua on the Raiders 35. But then Frenchie got borderline murdered by the great Jack Tatum. And, I mean, you look at the hit, and it literally looks like it could have killed him. I mean, he leveled him. And, you know, this was way before player safety, so it probably would have been hitting a defenseless receiver now, but instead it's just murder on a football field. He hit him so hard, the ball flies back about 10, 15 yards off the camera. They had to patch 2 photos together to even get, like, a good picture of this. Because that's a big part of why this is so controversial is, again, the footage was so limited in the 70s. There wasn't a million cameras on the field like there is now. So the ball that I just said flies off screen. Plays thought to be dead. But then Franco Harris runs down the right side or the left sideline with the ball and then touchdown. I mean, the Steelers won 13-7. And so, but that's why it's controversial. There is no direct camera angle of him catching the ball. they have patched it together, but there's people in the frame. It's hard to see if the ball touched the ground or not. So first off, the question is, was it even a catch? Did he touch it off the ground? Raiders fans will always say, it wasn't a catch. Steelers fans obviously do. I mean, Steelers fans almost just don't even talk about it because, again, no one really knows if it was a catch. We just go off what Franco said, and he says it's a catch, and everyone loved him, so they believed him. But no one knows. And then at the time, there was an old rule that if the ball deflected off your own team and hit the ground, it was an incompletion. So if it deflected off Frenchie, no one really knows because what it said was that it hit Tatum, but with no instant replay, they don't know. It was what the ref said, and the ref said the ball wasn't dead. So again, one of the coolest plays. I mean, NFL had it as the best game-winning play ever when they voted on it a few years back. It's one of the most infamous things ever. I mean, it's literally called the Immaculate Reception because it was like a miracle. And when you see the picture, you'll see how ridiculous it is. I mean, you look at where Frenchie and Tatum are, and then where Franco is. Franco is standing, basically, almost standing still, just walking before the ball goes flying, and then he runs, catches it, and then runs down the sideline. Like the greatest heads-up play ever. Yeah, except maybe the Jermaine Kearse one in the Super Bowl against the Patriots because that was really cool. But again, I mean, this whole play is ridiculous. And again, a fullback did it. One of the greatest plays. NFL Group voted it as the greatest game-winning play ever, and it's by a fullback. Now, I'm not saying that's because fullbacks are the greatest position ever. They definitely are, but that's a separate topic. But again, I just think that's so cool that one of the coolest plays in NFL history, a fullback was the reason it happened, and it's a passing play. So it's not even a run. It's not like Jim Brown broke it for 80 yards. Franco Harris caught a ball, wasn't even supposed to go to him to win a Super Bowl. Well, not a Super Bowl, the AFC Divisional. They'd go on to win the Super Bowl. But that's besides the point. You just look at him, and I said, he's 4 Super Bowls. He was a part of 4 Super Bowl teams, and like that, he was making plays to go to those Super Bowls. A great leader. He had 8 seasons of 1,000 yards rushing, which broke Jim Brown's record, which, people say Jim Brown's, the greatest thing ever. And, to break any of his records, really is a testament to being a good player because, Jim Brown really did set the standard for running backs, even though he was technically a fullback. That's a little fun fact. He honestly deserves like 10 fullback Fridays because I can't even really touch on everything he did because he literally did everything ever that a fullback could do. And he was like so like cool and level-headed and just, I don't know. He's freaking awesome. And so I'm going to end on this cool little thing. So he's Italian. And so he was huge for the Italian-American demographic. The Steelers fans, a lot of them became fans if they were Italian-American fans of football because he was huge. Like I said, he was 9-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, Walter Payton Man of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. He was huge. So he got a huge following from a kind of weird, offshoot market for the NFL. And they called themselves Franco's Italian Army. And the self-proclaimed Brigadier General was Frank Sinatra. Okay, and just to prove that, I'm going to pull up a picture of Frank Sinatra and Franco in 1970 having wine and cheese after one of their practices. It's awesome. Everything about Franco Harris is awesome, and he's probably the greatest. If he's not the greatest, he's definitely one of the greatest fullbacks of all time, hands down. So yeah, there's my video. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know, who you guys think I should do for in a few Fridays, any ideas, because I'd love to do anyone. I'm just doing some of my favorites right now, but I'd love to do any ideas. But yeah, thanks for watching. Subscribe, please. That's kind of cool. Like the video, comment. I respond to all of them because I don't get many. So again, feel free to comment. And I'll see you guys next Friday.